It's a brand new day with Mo and News. It's time to have your say. She's got the scoop, the stories, all the latest trends. Mo's got the news, let's hear it. My dear friends, from politics to showbiz, no story's too small. Mo covers it all. She's got the inside call, her voice so smooth, like honey in the summer sun. With Mo on the mic, you know the news is always fun. Mornings with Mo, the best newsy news in the world. With her style so classic and her stories unfurled, from morning till night, she's got us in the know. Turn on your radio, let Mo's newsy news flow.
Good morning, everyone. It is the 16th of December, which means if you are like me and you haven't wrapped anything, it's time to get our poop in a group, and we need to get some tape, and we need to go to Walmart. We need to get this tapping, this tapping, and try to remember, if you're me, to check that all your gifts are coming from Santa and not Satan, like I did one year. Because, yes, I did, in fact, write that all of my children had gotten gifts from Satan one year. Yes, I did get shelves. Good morning, everyone. Uh, nice to be back. Our first story is there was a holiday heist that diverted $1 million worth of toys on 3 different trucks in a new type of scam that may threaten U.S. businesses. Now, you know, this is not the time to be stealing from little children. I mean, it's never the time, but could we, you know, maybe not steal children from children during Christmas? A high-tech toy company fell victim to an elaborate heist that took 3 truckloads of holiday merchandise worth more than $1 million, the latest example in a new type of scam that threatens to plague businesses nationwide, the Post has learned. In mid-October, London-based Fly Chaser was geared up to ship 12,600 smart sketchers, a toy projector that helps kids learn how to draw, which retails for about $108, out of a warehouse in North Las Vegas to a Walmart distribution center in Atlanta. But the 3 trucks hired to deliver those toys ahead of crucial Black Friday weekend never made it to their destination, with the warehouse, truckers, and logistics company all ensnared in a complex scam that diverted 2 of the shipments to Los Angeles. So my kids would probably like this. If okay, my girls would like this. My boys would wanna use it as a weapon, not gonna lie. The fate of the 3rd shipment and truck is still unknown, although Flycatcher believes it may have been rerouted to New York City. That's partly because in recent weeks, Skycatcher discovered smart sketchers being sold at deep discounts from a third-party seller in Amazon that was based out of Brooklyn, forcing Flycatcher to mark down its own goods to compete. Say Shay Shen, a Flycatcher founder and owner-operator. We can't afford what's happening, Chen told the Post. We're losing so much money in the middle of the holidays. Flycatcher on Wednesday filed a lawsuit with the U.S. federal court in Manhattan against 14 online retailers that were allegedly selling these stolen goods. So, yeah, absolutely. This looks like it's a big old scam, and unfortunately, this company got taken for a ride. So, scammers, could you take off for the holidays? Because honestly, we're kind of done being scammed by the government and mainstream media. So, if you could give us a break, that would be great. I mean, so on things that were not on your bingo list for this year, and really, they should have been. But now Joe Rogan says that he is, quote, genuinely concerned, end quote, about drone sightings after a new theory emerges. Do you guys know the amount of crazy it is when you are getting out of a treatment that basically makes you question reality and very disorientated, and then to pull up your news feed because you're still a news junkie, and you have to look at your husband and say, "Mr. Mo, are did someone really say the mothership was outside of New Jersey and that the aliens were attacking from drones in New Jersey?" I just have to make sure that I'm not making this stuff up in my head. This year has been not the year to try to find, a treatment that's supposed to help that makes me confused about reality. Podcast king Joe Rogan said mysterious drones that have buzzed around the tri state area have left him genuinely concerned Sunday after watching a video that floated an unverified theory about the unmanned devices sniffing out harmful substances. John Ferguson, the CEO of a remote aircraft system company in Kansas, claims in a drawn out TikTok video on Saturday that the drones are attempting to smell either a natural gas leak or radioactive material or something else on the ground. Okay, are we tacitly admitting or tacitly, if we're Daryl Brooks, that New Jersey has so much weirdness going on that it has to be a natural gas leak or radiation? I mean, is this a tacit agreement? Oh my gosh. No, Greedy Bloke, I'm with you. I don't know. I don't like the fact that we have, drones going around and we don't know where they're from, and the people that are supposed to worry about it are like, "Nah, it'll be fine." When the government tells me, "No, we've got this completely under control," is when I get scared. So I get it. I'm just what? The only reason why you would ever fly an unmanned aircraft at night is because you're looking for something, Ferguson said in a clip, noting he doesn't believe that the drones are nefarious. Well, that's nice. I'm glad that we don't believe they're not nefarious, but could we know? Now, he said that his theory was based on his best guess on his level of expertise and was just an opinion on the drone mystery that has gripped the East Coast, and admitted that he hadn't bounced this idea off of anybody. So if you think it's bull s or whatever, that's cool. I don't want to spread misinformation. As we know, there's a lot of that going around, he said on the TikTok video. But his theory resonated with many online, including Rogan, who offered his 2 cents on the drones that have unnerved New Jersey and New York residents for weeks. This is the first video about these drones that has gotten me genuinely concerned, he wrote on X Sunday. The popular podcast host previously called the claims that the US government was sus after the White House National Security spokesperson, John Kirby, said that the drones were not a public safety concern and that many of the reported sightings are actually manned aircraft. The Department of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, the secretary, also downplayed concerns about the drones on Sunday, claiming that part of the drone sightings are based on relaxed regulations that allow the devices to fly at night. Some of those drone sightings are, in fact, drones, he said. Some are manned aircraft that are commonly mistaken for drones, and we do see duplicate reporting. Mayorkas also stressed that the department has deployed personnel and technology, and if there's any reason for concern, if we identify any foreign involvement or criminal activity, we'll communicate with the American people accordingly. Oh, let's see. My Mini 67, the last time I saw drones like that, they were scouting routes for target deliveries until one was shot down. Even the police weren't aware. I do have a sort of follow up as our last story because there's been a lot of drone violence here lately. We are not aware of any of those kind of threats. If we become aware of any, we will accordingly communicate and take appropriate action. Now, the Post has sought comment from the DHS over the latest theory. This is the gentleman who runs the company and apparently came up with this whole new theory about the gas leak or the radon, fumes or whatever perhaps we finally have found kryptonite. I don't know. A wide range of politicians, both Republican and Democrat, have been making noise about the seemingly endless drone sightings in the tri state area. New York Senator Chuck Schumer called on feds to deploy radar technology and identify the swarms of drones. Schumer, along with New York Senator Kristen Gillibrand and New Jersey Senator Cory Booker, an, along with another New Jersey Senator, Andy Kim, sent a letter to FBI, the Homeland Security, and the Federal Aviation Administration last week, demanding an explanation about what they were doing to identify and address the source of these incursions. So I'm sure we can expect raucous and lively C-SPAN debates as we all talk about the issue. I'm kind of hoping the aliens do just pop by the next 2 weeks. Come on, while I'm already getting a bunch of infusions, please do. I have no idea. Not even sure what's going on with this. In a terrifying story and a heartbreaking story, hopefully we get more on this. A 16-year-old allegedly unalived his entire family, then called 911 to drunkenly confess to the quadruple homicide, police say. So this is in New Mexico. A 16-year-old New Mexico boy was arrested Saturday morning after he allegedly unalived his parents and teenage siblings, then drunkenly called 911 to confess to the quadruple homicide, police said. Now, Diego Lavea is facing first-degree murder charges in the horrific, quadruple murder that happened around 3:30 a.m. before the Valencia County Sheriff's Office received a phone call from the murder suspect, New Mexico police, and, said in a news release. Now, the teen allegedly said he had unalived his family over the phone to a dispatcher, then walked out with his hands in the air when deputies reached his home in the city of Belen, according to authorities. State police said that Lavea was extremely intoxicated when he was taken into custody, but without incident. A force multiplier was found on the kitchen table, according to police. Now, the suspect's 42-year-old father, Leonardo Lavea, 35-year-old mother, Adriana Bencomio, and 16-year-old sister, Adrian Lavaya, and brother, Alex, were all found dead of gunshot wounds in the home, according to law enforcement and local affiliate KRQE. The alleged killer was taken to a nearby hospital for detox, then booked into a juvenile justice center in Albuquerque early Sunday morning. So I imagine that this is going to be a very big case. I imagine that this is going to be, if he doesn't plead out, this is going to be a very big question as to whether he should be, charged as a child or as an adult. 16 and with a quadruple murder does seem like he's probably going to get treated as an adult, but I'm not familiar with New Mexico and how they do those things. So I do believe that this is going to be, a big case moving forward. And we've had some cases end, so I do try to keep a lookout for cases that are probably going to be pretty big. Now, a former teacher was in disbelief that the high school boy would be responsible for anything like this. Quote, I would never have thought that something like this would happen and that Diego would be capable of doing something like this, educator Vanessa LaGrange told The Guardian. Everyone is in shock. State Police Investigative Bureau is still trying to determine what sparked this entire, situation. So I would be looking for there to be more updates in this particular story. Now, Lord Chippy operators, I'm going to need us to put this on extra slow and toes first. Yep, Mo is back and she's here with a vengeance. Quote, locked up for their safety. Parents who insisted they caged their 4 young children at night for their kids' well-being received their fate. No, I have had all the children. 3 of them are feral, and yet I did not crate train them because that's not what you do with people. For the love that of all that is Cheetos, what the hell, people? Mother and father in Minnesota are headed for prison for the next 4 years after locking their children in makeshift cages at night, insisting to cops that they did it for safety reason. Well, I mean, because those two faces don't say that I would watch any level of Maury while drinking Code Red Mountain Dew and ignoring my children. This is the starter pack for the what in the Walmart people. Ugh, these two. Benjamin Cotton, 42, and Christina Cotton, 40, pled guilty to child torture, court records show. As part of the plea deal, prosecutors dismissed 15 other charges that were, also including torture, neglect, malicious punishment of a child, as reported by Twin Cities ABC affiliate KSTP. According to a probable cause statement, the Goodhue County Health and Human Services received a report in August 2022 concerning the well being of 4 children, ages 9, 7, 5, and 2. Christina Cotton had been behaving erratically and has a history of mental illness, the police put in their report. Now, the report said that at least one of the children had been locked in the cage. A social worker and investigator from the Red Wing Police Department went to the home the day after they received the report. Christina Cotton answered the door and invited them inside. She said the 3 younger children were in their bedrooms while the older child was downstairs. When the cops asked if any of the children were locked in cages, Christina Cotton became upset and told them that the children were locked up for their safety. I mean, and my mini me, we all know that the kids will sleep anywhere. My half of my youngest 2 most feral children were were trying to find out where they would fall asleep because they would fall asleep, like, in a pile of stuffed animals or, in a cubby for some reason, and I would have to try to find them before I called the cops, because I thought they'd gotten out. So, yes, I would have loved to have a LoJax on my children when they were doing these things because they never slept in their beds. No, they would sleep, like, on a stair. It was just ridiculous. Now, investigators went into a bedroom and saw a 2-year-old locked in a playpen with what appeared to be a large dog crate strapped to the top so a child couldn't get out. He or she wore a soiled diaper, which was duct taped to his body. We're gonna need to go back and forth on these toes to cankle, these people. Next to the playpen was a bunk bed designed for very small children that had wooden planks around the exterior that kept the kids locked up in those areas. The 7 and 5-year-old were inside along with mattresses, blankets, and a puke bowl, according to cops. They could not even stand up. There was also a wooden door with a metal sliding lock. The mother said she locked up the children around 8:30, as you do. I mean, really, ma'am? Really? Meaning that they had been contained in the cages for about 13 hours. The 9-year-old was found downstairs, but not locked up. However, that child had excessive bruising around the back and behind area. Now, according to the affidavit, the 7-year-old told police that he had his hands taped behind his back with duct tape as a form of punishment. He also said that he had to do daily chores like cleaning rugs and couches and picking up toys. When he didn't do them, that his father would, abuse him, and his mom likes to hit him really, really hard. Attendance, this is dealer's choice for you, but if you want to go like extra slow, I am okay with that. It's kind of a dealer's choice, Imma let you guys handle it, but I'm okay if you wanna just, like, start it up, get about 3 inches in there, and then turn it off and take a union break. I'm okay. Per police, the social worker told Christina Cotton it was unacceptable to lock her children up in that manner, but she said, quote, "You don't understand," insisting that the cages were to prevent her children from dying. police said. She said that one time her kids had escaped and grabbed a kitchen knife, and the mother also expressed concerns that the children might get into household chemicals. Christina Cotton said if they weren't caged, they could end up not alive. It would be the fault of the police department and Health and Human Services. In an interview with investigators, the 9-year-old girl said she was concerned she would get in trouble by talking to them, saying her parents told her that disciplinary issues stayed within the home. She said her parents told her that people who cause trouble end up in jail as adults. She explained that if an older person ends up in jail, that they are given limited food choices, and live in a cage. Huh. Okay, so Tammy, I'm right there with you. But also, yes, you do have to hide chemicals. I have to hide things that I never thought I would have to hide. I am a woman who loves candles that cannot have the wax warmers out because my youngest, most feral son is genetically incapable of not playing with hot wax, no matter how many times he has lost his iPad and things like that. You know what? I love my kid more, so, yes, I will moan and complain that I can't have wax warmers because they will never be used for good, but I just don't bring them into the home. Yes, my kids, it's wild. You have children. You're not gonna have real nice things. You're not gonna be able to, do as much. But this mom sounds like she has a lot of mental issues, and hopefully 4 years away from them, the kids can get some help because this is going to follow them. These children are now programmed to kind of monitor the the feelings and the behaviors of adults. And do you not wanna know how I know? I know, because you know what? When you live with parents, when you live with people that can fly off the handle, I mean, there are things that these kids are now going to always be hyper aware of and hyper, fixated on and things like that. Always going to people please or do things like that. And I hate that these parents have given their kids this legacy. And I can openly hope that these kids get the help and support that they need from the system, from hopefully family members and community members, so they stop this cycle with their people. Now, ironically, the next story I have, New York City, if you live in New York City and you want to get a pet, well, you can't get them from pet stops anymore. So you might be able to get a corgi for cheap. Corgis on clearance. New York pet shops banned from selling dogs, cats, rabbits starting Sunday have prompted major price cuts to clear furry inventory. Pet shops across New York were banned from selling dogs, cats, and rabbits starting Sunday, thanks to a new law prompting stores to frantically offer bargain basement prices beforehand to clear out their furry inventory. Quote, I never thought I'd buy a dog, but if they don't get sold, they're going to a shelter, said a 31-year-old paralegal who made off with a black and white teddy bear dog, a Shih Tzu Bichon mix from Astoria Pets in Queens. Uh, Plus, the kids make you do crazy things, she said, who picked up the adorable pooch for her son for $650, even though it was originally priced at $2,800. Puppy Mill Pipeline Act, the act that is intended to curb the flow of animals coming into the state from abusive puppy mill breeding practices, and instead encourages adoption from overwhelmed shelters, took effect Sunday, 2 years after Governor Kathy Hochul signed it into law. So across New York City, it was a buyer's market for prospective owners over the weekend. Ingrid Rodriguez, 25, picked out a 10-week-old Pomeranian for just 1,300, marked down from $1,400 dollars in Astoria Pet, and one buyer bought home a corgi for just $500. Okay, I need help from all of you because if my son finds out that he could get a corgi for $500, I will have a ticket on my credit card to New York to get a corgi. You have no idea. So we must all keep this quiet because Dingus, before he is deburied, is enough right now. Dingus is annoying the ever-living fluff out of all the cats because he needs to get deburied, and the girl cats don't like him. They really don't like me. It wasn't the plan, Rodriguez told the Post. I was walking with my dog and saw the sign, and she wanted to go in. So, holding up the doggy to her chest. She said she had mixed feelings about the laws, but hopes that it will discourage people from breeding dogs in, illegal or unhealthy sort of ways. I'm for the change in the law. I was a vet tech, unlicensed, but the pet shop owners cutting the tail wagging deals for customers couldn't agree more with the law, insisting that countless small businesses following ethical practices will have no choice but to close their doors over it. I've been here for 42 years. The last 8 years, the city tells us we have to buy only from the breeders that they give a Class A license to, said 73-year-old Don Delicio, who owns Astoria Pets, explaining that he closely followed whatever regulations the city handed down and have only now had to ban all pet sales because of, the regulation. 2 years ago, they passed a law saying you can't buy from anyone. You can't stay in business. We're going out of business. We're not going to last, he said. I can't last selling supplies that are cheaper online. All I hear every day is $14. I can get that on Chewy for $5. We're not going to survive. We're done. 120 businesses that I know of are closing almost immediately, he said. Roughly 25,000 2,500 employees from Albany to Montauk. We've never had a violation here. Look at the paperwork. 15 years of paperwork, not, one violation. So it really, hopefully, these puppies, kittens, cats, rabbits, ducks, whatever else they sold, uh, were able to get to good families that maybe couldn't have afforded, that particular breed. Delicio said he was forced to clear out all of his dogs over the weekend or sell them to a shelter. He said he ended up selling all 21 dogs that he had, not counting the 3 he gave to lifelong customers who couldn't afford them. I'm out. I'm done. I'm 76. I've got 6 kids, 2 of whom who work for me. I've got 6 grandkids. New York officials don't have any idea what they're doing to small businesses in the state. Activist groups, on the other hand, including New York Animal Care Centers of New York City, are pleased to see an end to practices they say, enable inhumane breeding. For too long, pet stores have been the final stop in a cruel supply chain that leads, pets to being commodities. This law not only helps shut down that pipeline, but it shines a light on the humane alternatives, such as adopting from shelters. The Best Friend Society called the ban a long time coming. Often, pets get sold at pet stores, are raised in puppy mill situations, which are often inhumane, and choose profit over humane care. A rep from the group told the Post on Sunday. The reality is, dogs in these facilities who are used for breeding puppies often spend their entire lives in wire crates without adequate shelter or veterinary care, food, or socialization. When people don't have the option to buy from a pet store, which may seem like the easiest but often not the best choice, people are more incentivized to explore the adoption option, the representative added, pointing out that pet shops now have an option to rent out their space to overflowing shelters. You're not going to, if you try to legislate for just one problem, you're going to end up creating more problems. Hopefully, they can figure this out. It's just the bark and the little piddle stains. But hopefully, we can get animals adopted from shelters. Shelters have great animals. They're, super cute. Hopefully that gets done. I don't have all the answers. It's only a Monday. If you are going to Fiji, maybe don't try a pina colada and a long walk on the beach because it could be a bad choice. Tourists in Fiji are ill after suspected pina colada poisoning. Seven foreigners in Fiji were sent to the hospital for a suspected poisoning after drinking pina coladas at a five-star resort's bar. Now, five are tourists, with one from the US and the rest from Australia, aged between 18 and 56. The two others are foreigners living in Fiji, according to local media reports citing the health ministry. Some of the previously reported were seriously ill, but local officials said on Monday that their symptoms have since improved and they were set to be discharged. The incident comes weeks after the death of six tourists in Southeast Asian nation of Laos because of suspected methanol poisoning. So, Fiji tourism chief Brent Hill told RNZ they were keenly aware of the Laos incident, but the case in Fiji was a long way from that. Shortly after drinking the rum cocktail at the Warwick Fiji resort on Coral Coast, seven guests started displaying nausea, vomiting, and neurological symptoms. They were initially taken to a local hospital but transferred to Lakota Hospital, according to the Fiji Times. Now, Fiji's tourism minister, Vilme Gavik, stressed that this was an extremely isolated incident and that the resorts claimed that they had not engaged in practices such as substituting ingredients or altering the quality of drinks served to guests. Now, the initial investigations are on the way and no further cases have been reported. So there you go. It might be okay to have a pina colada, possibly. Sydney resident David Sando told the Australian Broadcasting Corporation that his daughter Tanya and her granddaughter Georgia were part of those affected, but he added that they were returning home and doing very well considering what happened. It's difficult to take a call at 11 at night and your daughter says that they've been poisoned and they're in the hospital, Mr. Sando said, adding that Georgia had suffered from a seizure as well. The ABC had previously reported that the 56-year-old Australian woman was under medical surveillance in a hospital, and a 19-year-old Australian woman had suffered a severe medical episode. So hopefully they figure what is going on here. This does not make me very confident to order an $8 drink anywhere, let alone anywhere in East, Asia or general regions, but oh Lord. Y'all, I have no words. I have no words. I don't understand this one, but a zoo director dons an ostrich costume, not for a Bjork rendition, but for a surprise escape drill. Okay, Australia, explain this. An Australian zoo shared a video from a surprise animal escape drill featuring the zoo's director playing the part of a fugitive cassowary. Oh, I'm sorry, that was a cassowary, not an ostrich. Rockhampton Councillor for Parks, Sports and Public Spaces, Sherry Rutherford, said the drill at Rockhampton Zoo was the first to take place during operational hours with guests present. Quote, this year's training was the first live experience and an opportunity for staff to put their training into practice, Rutherford said in a news release. The exercise was kept a complete surprise, with staff only realizing it was a drill after it began. It was also a surprise to zoo goers on that day, who were able to see the training in action, and some even got to take part in it. You guys, I need this to happen the next time I go to the zoo. I need to be fully convinced that I'm just constantly on a peyote trip. What in the hell in a handbasket? If I'm in a zoo and I see a grown-ass woman dressed as a cassowary, I'm just going to assume that whatever gummies they got were better than the ones I bought at the gas station. The drill featured Rockhampton Zoo director Liz Ballward playing an escaped animal in an ostrich costume. Unfortunately, you can't buy a cassowary Halloween costume, the zoo explained in a Facebook post. The team communicated effectively and worked well together to bring the cassowary back to its enclosure, the post said. I wonder if it beamed him in the head with that. Was she allowed to carry a wiffle bat so she could pretend to, brain them with her cassowary hump bone thing? I don't get it, you guys. I'm confused. Well, it didn't take long, and who couldn't have called this? But daddy, the lawyer said that I would say I was sorry and I wouldn't get any time because I was doing AA. Yeah, I will be going over this later today. We have a 77-page submittal, unwarranted and grossly disproportionate, end quote, drunk driver who killed newlywed bride asking for a sentence reduction and suggests that media interest led to a harsh punishment. Dang. Or maybe the fact that your phone calls leaked where you asked, "Why does bad stuff always happen to me?" Could be that you looked like Billy Bass when, everyone was talking about, this, at the sentencing, but you probably have been bitching to daddy who bought you those expensive lawyers who probably explained to you you're not going to get away with this. And you heard, "I'll get out in 5 minutes." The drunk driver who killed a newlywed bride moments after her wedding reception last year has asked a judge to reduce her prison sentence. In a 77-page submittal on Thursday, attorneys for Jamie Lee Komorowski, 26, asked Ninth Judicial Circuit Judge Deandra L. Jefferson to reconsider condemning the woman to 25 years in prison. On December 2nd, Komorowski pled guilty to 2 counts of felony DUI resulting in great bodily injury and 1 count of felony DUI resulting in death and reckless homicide resulting in death. The sentencing happened in the Palmetto State the same day that the court sentenced her to 15 years each for the DUI resulting in injury convictions, 25 years for the DUI resulting in death conviction, and 10 years for the reckless homicide conviction. Jefferson assessed the sentences to run concurrently or at the same time as one another. So, yeah, I don't think that this is a crazy amount of time. You basically stole an entire life away from people. You have stolen functional lives away from the 2 gentlemen that were grossly affected. And for anyone who doesn't live with constant chronic pain, the toll it takes on you is lifelong and it's life changing. And so I don't care that this chick is upset that she's going to have to spend 25 years, actually putting words and actions to her, "I'm so sorry." You know, this is basically kicking in the face every time that anyone stood up for you and said she wants to pay a price. She understands that she took a life away. What you are saying now is, "Yeah, but she's gonna suffer a little bit and that hurts her." So, no, no. And if this does get lowered, I know a bunch of people who are gonna be pissed off. The motion, the defense says her upcoming prison stint is, quote, "unwarranted and grossly disproportionate for similarly situated cases in the Low Country region of South Carolina, and even compared to many neighboring jurisdictions across vast swaths of the southern and mid-Atlantic regions of the country." A canvass of sentences in the same court for felony DUI resulting in death shows cases ranging sentencings ranging from 9 to 18 years behind bars. In review of such cases from broader Charleston County, including some cases involving multiple deaths, the defense has shown that some cases result in sentences as few as 6 years behind bars. Yet other Charleston County cases show some sentences technically disposed of with exactly the same sentence as Komorowski, 25 years, but only on paper. In those cases, however, the ultimate prison time only served was 16 years because the full sentence was suspended by several years. In other similar cases cited by the defense, ultimate time served ranged from as little as 4 years to as much as 18 years behind bars, according to the motion. And in many South Carolina cases from, counties with similar facts, the defense notes that the defendants received effective sentences of as little as 3 years in prison. On the night in question, Komorowski was behind the wheel and severely intoxicated when she struck a golf cart carrying the celebratory couple as they left their wedding reception in Folly Beach. The crash killed Samantha Miller and her husband, Samantha Miller Hitchinson. Law and Crime, stop. Mom of Samantha, stop it. She was married. While it may seem like a crushing disappointment, you got to see your daughter at the happiest time in her life, getting ready to start a new life with the man that she chose, the man that she loves. And how you cannot honor that, mom of the bride, I don't get it. But Law and Crime, you could honor that this woman made a choice and chose this man. It's the most disrespectful bullshit I have ever seen. Excuse me. Sorry. I love how I was like, "I'm gonna come back on Monday and be all excited and super supportive." But this whole Hitchinson thing when it comes to the you know, Samantha Miller Hitchinson kinda thing, or Hutchinson, respect that for the love of Cheetos. Mom, I know you wanted to be her only person in her life, but she was getting married. Ugh. Jedi Jess, I do have the motion pulled, so I will be reading it today, and or today or tomorrow, I do wanna go into Sarah Boone's booning, today, and so, good lord, she didn't take responsibility, she didn't going to an AA meeting or 2 does not make you reformed. I'm so tired of this. Now, according to South Carolina law enforcement, the drunk driver was traveling at 65 miles per hour. So, again, she failed a sobriety test. She was more than 3 times the legal limit. I don't care. I am so tired. This is the same thing that Sarah Boone wants to do. I have covered myself in gold dust and redemption. Therefore, I really don't have to like actually do any hard work. I am washed in the blood, of being brand new and Jesus-fied. No. No, you're not. Yes, forgiveness is given, but atonement must be right there, and not surface level atonement, but actual deep, soul destroying, realizing what you did wrong, taking responsibility for it. I honestly, the fact that she didn't get life pissed me off. So, ma'am, you're barking up the wrong tree, and when people call you out for as utter human garbage for this move, they're gonna be right. But okay, you just try it. In well, I don't know if there is no such thing as no bad publicity because I'm not sure about this, but a socialist clothing company founder is creating a disturbing most wanted CEO playing cards in the wake of the United Healthcare shooting. And he looks kind of exactly how you would imagine a CEO of a company self-styled as socialist and, wanting to put most wanted CEO cards. He does kinda look exactly like you would assume that he would look. I don't know. Sometimes stereotypes are right, I guess. A founder of a socialist apparel brand who has called online for the unaliving of corporate executives, is planning to sell a deck of cards of the most wanted CEOs, complete with names and faces and decorated with illustrations of, force multipliers. This sounds really, really dumb, but okay. And thank you, Unhung Hero. Drink, drive, unalive someone, ride the lightning. I'm okay with that. Unhung Hero, at every possible way, I'm okay with this. Comrade Workwear founder. Comrade Workwear, you couldn't, go with, I don't know, Gulag Archipelago. Okay, Lenin. James Haar announced the disturbing project just days after United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was unalived on the streets of Midtown Manhattan. He said he was inspired by the most wanted Iraqi playing card sets famously distributed to the US and coalition forces during the 2003 invasion of Iraq to help identify key targets in Saddam Hussein's circle. Oh, my shirt says, "I only have eyes for you," and it's got eyes on it. 'Cause I'm an adult. Yeah, this is gonna sell like gangbusters. If you're a socialist clothing thing, do you take money or do people come work to be, like, collective owners of the, I don't know, factory in Bangladesh? I don't know. I am confused. The tech helped soldiers find and do what they needed to do to those depicted, said Har, whose social media accounts are loaded with anti capitalism posts and images, including the one reading, "The CEO must die." He then blithely rattles off numerous A list CEOs, whom the Post is choosing not to name, to be included in the deck, asking his combined 1,900 or 100,000 subscribers between Instagram and TikTok to help him come up with more. The comment thread below the Instagram post was flooded with praise from followers who threw out scores of suggestions for other potential targets to feature on the deck, with many pledging to buy it as soon as it is available for purchase. Now, here's my question for the not being a lawyer, but should someone take the suggestion from these card packs, could he be considered a, conspirator? Could he be considered a kind of facilitator, or would this be an actual call to violence? I mean, I'm okay with say whatever you want, dumb as you want. I don't care. I'm cool with free speech. I think free speech is the way we get a lot of these dumb ideas out and talk about them. But how are you a socialist clothing company? How are you the CEO? Should you not by default then purchase or put yourself on the CEO thing? Or are you a financial officer and not a CEO? Does it include addresses? One commenter inquired as to what information would be available on the cards. We need a card for good guys like Luigi Mangione, too. Another wrote in reference to Thompson's accused killer. In a post follow up on TikTok, Hard gleefully showed off the preliminary design mock ups of the deck, which he said would be separated into suits representing different industries. Clubs, for instance, would include CEOs of pharmaceutical and chemical companies. Hare says in the video, hearts would represent things you need to survive, like retail and real estate. Diamonds will feature CEOs in tech, finance, and media, while spades will depict chief executives in companies that are involved in oil and war. Okie dokie. The reverse side of each card includes the words Most Wanted CEO playing cards and an image of a real human silhouette, you know, like a gun range. Now, the card's side feature is a black and white close up of each, CEO's face with their name and affiliation, along with QR codes under the heading Why They Are Evil, which Har says will lead to dedicated web pages outlining their apparent sins. In response to the December 4th shooting and following grotesque wave of support for Mangione's alleged actions, United Healthcare and a number of other corporations have scrubbed the names of their top executives from their websites, or their Wikipedia things or things like that. Meanwhile, private security firms have provided, services for Fortune 500 companies say that they've been inundated with calls from new potential clients. Um, I'll make this announcement here and now. I am willing to be the in name and pay only CEO for your local companies because let's be real, no one's going to come to Indiana. Now, I am willing to take the heat and be a CEO, but I need to be paid as such. and I need you guys to stop doing evil. So if you wanna hire me as your fake CEO, Imma need you to stop doing evil for the love of all that is Cheetos. These people. When reached by via Instagram Sunday morning, Har insists that the card deck is not a call to violence. I'm sure your legal team is telling you to say that. Quote, I am not suggesting that anyone should cause physical harm to anyone, but I do want people to know who is making their life harder, who is stealing from them, who is deciding that a couple more percentage points of profit is worth more than the life of your loved one, he told the Post. Ugh, what a look look, Luigi looks like he is the eyebrow love child of a scientific experiment to make Eugene Levy and, Karl Marx and Groucho Marx have a eyebrow baby. No, bad. Stop geeking out over weird serial people. It's like those people that said Ted Bundy was just so attractive. He had a unibrow and he looked distinctly creepy. Am I the only one who's like, I'm not seeing it. True, true. I mean, what would they do if they weren't able to, I don't know, be evil? Uh, this chick needs to buy like 3 lottery tickets, okay? Like 3 or 4 lottery tickets. Pick out whatever numbers, ma'am, because you just won the life lottery. A Filipina who won a last-minute reprieve from an Indonesian firing squad is preparing to fly home. Ma'am, Imma need you to stand next to me during bingo. We are winning the big prize. And welcome, Shizzy Raiders. A Filipina who was on death row in Indonesia and nearly executed by a firing squad in 2015 will return home this week under an arrangement between the countries, officials said Monday. Mary Jane Valeso, who spent almost 15 years in an Indonesian prison for drug trafficking, won a last minute reprieve that led to her testimony exposing how a criminal syndicate duped her into being an unwitting accomplice and drug courier. Valeso was moved late Sunday to a female prison in Indonesia's capital, from where she will be flown back to the Philippines early Wednesday. Neoman Jed Soraya Maturam, an official at the Ministry for Immigration and Corrections, told a news conference. Welcome, Shizzy Raiders. Her repatriation was made possible by a practical arrangement signed between the two countries on December 6th after a decade of pleading from Manila. In a tearful interview with the Associated Press last week, Valeso described her return home as a miracle when I have lost all hope. For 15 years, I was separated from my children, parents, and I could not see my children grow up. I wish to be given an opportunity to take care of my children and be close to my parents. Veso, who will turn 40 next month, was arrested in 2010 at an airport in an Indonesian city where officials discovered about 2.6 kilograms or 5.7 pounds of heroin hidden in her luggage. The single mother of 2 sons was convicted and sentenced to, well, not being alive anymore. Her case caused a public outcry in the Philippines. She was traveling to Indonesia in 2010, where her recruiter, Maria Cristina Sergio, reportedly told her a job as a domestic worker awaited her. Sergio allegedly provided the suitcase where the drugs were found. In 2015, Indonesia moved her to an island prison where she and 8 other drug convicts were scheduled to be executed via firing squad, despite objections from their home countries of Australia, Brazil, France, Guyana, and Nigeria. Indonesia executed the 8 others, but she was granted a stay of execution because Sergio was arrested in the Philippines just days before. The United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime says Indonesia is a major drug smuggling hub, despite having some of the most strict drug laws in the world, because of the international syndicates that target its young population. Indonesia's latest execution of an Indonesian and 3 foreigners were carried out in July 2016. About 530 people are on death row in Indonesia, mostly for drug related crimes, including 96 foreigners, the Ministry of Immigration and Corrections data showed last month. 5 Australians who spent almost 20 years in Indonesian prisons for heroin trafficking were returned to Australia on Sunday under a deal struck between the Indonesian and Australian governments. Indonesia recently agreed in principle to return a French man and a British woman, both on death row, to their home countries. So don't take y'all. I have saw Broke Palace, or was it Broke Down Palace? I don't know, the one where Claire Danes ended up looking like she had the HIV in some foreign prison. I am not going anywhere. I have not taken any packages. I just learned how to do an Uber, you know? I will refuse to go to any foreign places. And for our final story, in the matchup that we as Americans need, and this man should become a hero, but a retiree who shot down a Walmart drone has a plea deal. The 72-year-old retiree who used his 9mm force multiplier to shoot a Walmart delivery drone hovering near his Florida home has struck a plea deal that could result in the eventual dismissal of felony and misdemeanor counts, court records show. Dennis Wynn will enter a pretrial intervention program offered by prosecutors that, upon successful completion, will result in the dropping of criminal charges. They have a, like, Alcoholic Anonymous for people that shoot down drones. Because I just wanna sit in on meetings. Like, "Have you my name is Mo, and I haven't shot down a drone, but I'm sure looking to join the club." The PTI program, which is similar to probation, is offered to defendants with no significant criminal history. In a PTI contract signed by Wynn and the prosecutors, the defendant admitted his guilt and agreed to perform 25 hours of community service. At the conclusion of this program, which could be as short as 90 days, the state will not object to the return of the defendant's firearm in evidence. During a November 27th court conference, Wynn also was ordered to immediately pay $5,000 in restitution to Drone Up Delivery, the Virginia firm and Walmart partner that owned the drone struck by the single bullet fired from Wynn's Sig Sauer. Put this man on the front lines in New Jersey. We will figure this right quick and in a hurry. He is the hero we need. We asked for a hero, and this is the man that the universe offered up. Get this man to New Jersey, get him a bigger force multiplier. We're gonna have these drones down 5 seconds. Enter the hour, enter the hero. When a former okay, Wynn was charged with a criminal information, with discharging a firearm in public, uh, criminal mischief, a third-degree felony, since the damage to the drone's payload exceeded $1,000. When a former New Jersey fire captain was arrested late June at his home in Claremont, an Orlando suburb, after the employees told cops that their drone was fired on while it flew over the residential neighborhood. A two-man drone-up team was in the neighborhood conducting mock deliveries to attract business and interest to Walmart's new program. The drone had been flying at a height of 230 feet before it dropped down to 75 feet to demonstrate the deployment of a cable to which a Walmart package could be attached. Now, when seen on the right, told investigators that he was working on his pool equipment when he heard a drone whirring in from the front of his home. After trying to shoo off the drone, Wynn said he retrieved his firearm from his gun safe and fired. Now, they say I hit it, so I must be a good shot, he said. According to police cam recording that captured Wynn's confession, yes, I shot at it. And the query, how much trouble am I in? claiming that he was unaware that drones were part of a Walmart fleet when explained that he had past experiences with drones flying over his house and he believed they were surveilling him. He did not further explain why he thought his home on a quiet cul-de-sac, purchased for about $500,000 in 2007, was a target for a previous, aerial monitoring. Look, he got an Xbox. Everyone's jealous. When the drone up workers heard the gunfire, they saw Wynn holding a force multiplier towards the sky and they ran back to their van, while the drone returned to a Walmart supercenter about 4 miles away or two by air. While Wynn, the cops say, acknowledged that he was reckless, he made the odd comment while officers gently handcuffed him around the front. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Jesus. Grandpa Give No Fs is out. He laughed but got no reaction from the sheriff's deputies. Uh, so there you go. Apparently, he decided to make a little St. George Floyd joke too. Oh my gosh. Grandpa, are there any levels of, brass bulbs that you are? And yes, Grandpa, I have a question. Why are you wearing suspenders and shorts? I have so many questions here, but I'm kind of okay with all of them. So there you go, guys. Grandpa is going to shoot down the drone. I have no idea. So we have a couple of updates, mainly like what is going to be going on this week. So I have another infusion tomorrow, and then Mr. Mo and I sat down and we will be trying to schedule out a full kind of the protocol that I'm supposed to have for CRPS. This would be something that we only decided yesterday, because these infusions are not easy for me. I don't know if you can see it. Got nice bruises everywhere. They make me feel very disorientated and out of control. So they are not my favorite thing. I don't know why anyone would use them for recreation. They're not my jam. I generally like self-control. Uh, but I am willing to feel crappy for 2 weeks, rather to have some things that have really not been possible come back. Yes, Wolfram, they are helping. I was actually able to kind of lay down and cuddle with Mr. Mo, and it seems like such a small thing, but in 3 years, it's been really hard for us to kind of connect that way because, it's either I'm too hot, I'm too cold, everything hurts, you know, I can't, or my leg will start spasming. So I'm willing to feel not so great for a couple more weeks to get the perks back. But it is definitely not my happy my happy place. I don't like being out of control. I don't like being, kind of disorientated. It's really hard on me, but I am willing to, do that. So I am going to be working today on, the redacted Sarah Boone shenanigans, and getting that stream out. Want to tomorrow. I will probably do a stream on Jamie Komorowski wanting lower stuff, but what I'm trying to set you guys up with is that probably for the next 2 weeks, I will be streaming here and there, but Mornings with Mo will probably not be regular. And then hopefully by the time, we're the first week into New Year's, I'll be back and ready to go and on top of things. So it was not an easy sort of kind of decision to come to because I stupidly did not imagine that I would feel this bad. I don't like being out of control. I would if I'm gonna ask Mr. Mo about a pocket donut, I would like to have remembered the whole exchange. So, it's more that, but I do see some slight improvements, so that is why we're moving forward, but it is Whew. Yes, my mini me, I still feel like I've been run over by a truck, but feeling much better today. So gonna, push through, not feeling the greatest, but then I should be back and able to do a lot of things that I haven't been able to. So I am so incredibly thankful for all of you guys and your support. It makes the B Rex is we are still moving things. Mr. Mo is continuing to fight strep throat, so he is actually off, but we are setting up my other bed so I should be able to sit up and stream from bed. Boudoir Mo, who knows? And now you guys can see this is my hair. Front part, back part. Not even sure she used the same color. Like, not even gonna lie, I don't know what's going on there, but I do have an appointment tomorrow in the afternoon to get it done again. But I really wanted to take time to really appreciate all you guys, slowing down and not doing as much has been, incredibly hard for me, but it's also something that I have to walk through in order to get out to another side, and I am seeing positives, even though I am going to talk to the doctor about seeing if there's something we can just leave in, uh, so that he doesn't have to repoke things on, because that is really hard. One of the big issues with CRPS is that constant poking on parts of my body can really aggravate it. So yeah, I'm gonna be asking for a port because I don't know how I'm going to do 9 more infusions on these wrists. They really hurt. Holy God. You guys, I used to have, like, the highest pain tolerance, and Mr. Mo was like, "Yeah, this one's actually really red and swollen yesterday." But I'm going to give you guys a hint. Lidocaine patches work. I have more stock in lidocaine patches than I should, but the lidocaine patches work, so I'm gonna see about that and drink a lot of water. So, I guess I was stupidly thinking that these were gonna help right away and I wasn't going to feel bad, but it is, um it is a lot harder than I thought it was gonna be. So, thank you guys all for your support, and I will try to keep, you know, updated and that kind of thing. I will tell you that as they increase the dosage, so each day it gets bigger in dose, it has been harder on me. So I'm hoping that I should be able to, uh, get some stuff done, but it's not going to be. And you know what? It's the holidays. I will probably hang out with Baker for a little bit on Christmas and do a New Year's thing. But I am just amazed at all the stuff that we got done this year, how this channel has grown. So I definitely want, to let you guys know and then give you guys kind of a heads up because I had a real hard time getting my head wrapped around feeling worse to feel better. And I am not, especially after I've made peace, like, you guys don't understand. For as bad as this fall has been and as bad as, CRPS can be sometimes, uh, I had really made peace with how I could adapt things and get things done. So having to feel worse in order to feel better was kind of a mental thing I wasn't really prepared for. But if you are looking at this treatment, um, my reaction may not be the same. I don't I absolutely hate being out of control. So if you like being out of control and feeling kind of fluffy, they might be not so hard on you. But there is that to consider, and there is a lag time, and I felt that I was a little bit hard on myself for not being able to get up and do. So, thank you guys so much. I will be getting, a Sarah Boone stream probably for this afternoon, evening. I will probably not have nightly newsy news just so we can get everything set up. You guys, it is story time. So last week, before I went anywhere, I spent all of last week like folding clothes, mopping, getting freezer meals ready for the children. So, it I come home less than 24 hours later, and the house looks like boxes of Pop-Tarts have exploded, and the dishes are taking over the kitchen, and I was like, "What in the hell?" So, coming home when you are disorientated and, tired and just about done with all humor to a crazy messy house is not the best plan, so we are planning on getting some chores done, and I am coming home, and it feels really weird, but I'm actually having to put on my to-do list, "Relax, relax," and, you know, get your audiobooks and listen to your audiobooks and give, yourself a chance to use this time to see if it actually works. So, hopefully, those things going in with a clearer kind of expectation that this is not going to be easiest is all helpful, but I do wanna kind of give you guys an update, and I know a lot of people watch, and maybe you're thinking about these treatments. It Holy God, I would pay for an Alice. You have no idea. A sassy maid who has an in with a butcher. Like, I wouldn't even care if I had a gay husband. Carol, I don't know what you're bitching about. So I am going to, you know, try to take this as a learning curve that yes, it is okay to be out of control, to let other people help me, things that have always been a struggle for me, and end this year on a fresh start with hopefully a fresh, treatment that will probably, maybe hopefully work. So I will keep you guys updated on that. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you all probably this afternoon with Sarah Boone, the Boonening, because apparently the heifer has not even waited to start emptying them big, pens. Just insanity. Bye, you guys.